Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. And today I'm bringing you a brand new and exciting interview episode. My guest today is CEO, founder, marketing consultant, and business coach, James Hipkin. James is passionate about websites and helping the rest of us understand online marketing. He helps 7-figure businesses to get the websites they need to become 8-figure businesses. And high-level clients he has worked with include Sprint, Apple, Wells Fargo Online Bank, Nestlé, and Toyota. So welcome, James, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
It's wonderful to be here, Claudia. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. So, James, there are usually two kinds of entrepreneurs in this world: the ones who love marketing and sales, and the ones who hate it. And it seems like you belong to the ones who love it. So what or who inspired you to pursue a career in marketing and advertising?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I have a somewhat checkered past. My college degree was a Bachelor of Music, Composition and Theory, with a minor in math.
Oh, wow.
When I needed to raise my GPA, I'd take a calculus course. I was one of those. Was involved in the early days of computer music at MIT and did various things like that. But with a music degree, I was very involved in the entertainment on the campus, and I ended up rolling out of college into the rock and roll industry and spent 6 years touring with rock bands and working as a road manager and people you'd recognize. And that was fun. But at the age of 30, I decided I didn't want to live on the road anymore, and I needed to get a real job. And so I grabbed every book I could find on advertising, and I went about getting myself a job as a 30-year-old junior account executive at an advertising agency. And that's how I got into advertising. It seemed to be the aspect of business that most tapped into both my left brain and my right brain. Mm-hmm. I've subsequently actually been measured, and I have one of those rare situations where my left brain and right brain are almost equally balanced.
Also.
And most people are one or the other, but I've got both going on, and that has served me well. The music background was a very good preparation for marketing and advertising, and the down to earth, what I call my back to the wall MBA that I received, managing bands and touring and keeping schedules and advanced project management and all that stuff, helped as well. So those combinations led me into marketing and advertising, and that's what I've done for the last 40 years.
So you instantly loved it.
Yeah, and I still do.
Awesome.
Oddly enough. What I'm doing right now is supposed to be my semi-retirement, and my wife asks me, so what part of working from 8 in the morning until 6 at night is semi-retired? But there you go. I still really, really enjoy helping businesses take advantage of marketing, because there is a lot of bad information out there. A lot of snake oil salesmen. It's a perceived low barrier of entry. So lots of people claim that they can do this because they've watched 3 YouTube videos. And this is what I do. And we're focused on websites, and it because in the modern digital world, the website is the hub of your digital marketing activity, or it should be. And then the various channels that you use or tactics that you'd employ are the spokes. And then the rim is your content and messaging strategy. And that's, I think, to speak to your audience, that's where the power of digital marketing comes. It's not the individual pieces, but how you connect the pieces together.
Right.
It's in the connection that the power comes. And so one of the first things I often tell folks when I get engaged with them, first of all, you need to have a website that actually functions. And that's a whole conversation unto itself. And then you need to really, really concentrate on who your customers are.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding your customer avatar, understanding the customer journey are two very, very key things, because you need to craft your digital marketing so that it ties into the customer journey.
Yeah.
And builds that trust. People don't buy instantaneously. Rarely do they do that. You need to build some trust with them through what I call microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
It can be as simple as liking a Facebook post, or sharing a Facebook post, or commenting on a Facebook post, or signing up for a free download, giving the email. Each one of those transactions is a richer microtransaction that is demonstrating a higher level of trust and relationship has been built.
Mm-hmm.
You need to manage that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, I would suggest, is a key practical tip for entrepreneurs. Pick a couple of channels, do them really well, have a strategy.
Sounds good to me. And I can tell that you still live and breathe marketing. But why do you think so many entrepreneurs hate marketing? What do they need to understand in order to shift their mindset around this?
That's an interesting question. Hard for me to answer, quite honestly, because it's what I've done for so many years. It's just not.
It's second nature to you.
How could you hate breathing? There's an old story from David Ogilvy used to tell. David Ogilvy is one of the early founders of modern advertising. He was on a train with one of his clients, and the client's son was saying, "Why are we spending all this money on advertising?" And the client said to his son, "What would happen to this train if we took the engine off?" And that is what marketing and advertising is the engine to your efforts. You can't have a business if you don't have customers. You can't have customers if they don't know that you exist.
That's very true. But I have to confess that I'm one of those people who hates ads. And I'm one of those people who would turn ads off as quickly as possible, because quite frankly, I find most of them pretty annoying. But as a marketing professional, are there any companies whose ads you really enjoy? Do you have a favorite ad? And if so, what makes it stand out in your mind?
The issue's not the ads, because an ad that you find annoying is probably not an ad that was designed to appeal to you.
True.
It was designed to appeal to somebody else, because chances are you aren't the target audience for that particular product. Now, the ads that you don't find annoying are not the ones you even think about. They're the ones that have been designed for you, and that message is getting through to you.
Right. So they just resonate with me because they're designed to.
Right.
Right. Gotcha.
It's about the simple idea, and this is an old axiom: get the right message to the right person at the right time.
Sounds very
and that's why I comment right at the beginning about how important it is to understand your target audience.
Right.
I mean, one of the examples I can share is I was involved with the advertising agency that worked with Toyota to relaunch the Prius.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably 12, 15 years ago, and we were doing the advertising and marketing in Northern California, and they were relaunching it across the country, obviously. Everybody else in the country was marketing the Prius for its hybrid technology and how good that was for the environment.
Yep.
They were speaking to the early adopters. chances are the early adopters already had a Prius.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to speak to the early majority. We created a benefit proposition for the Prius that it was an economical family car because it was a hybrid.
Right. Okay. See what you're doing.
We spoke to the early majority.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's nice that it's good for the environment and all that sort of thing. But the problem that target audience needed to have solved is they needed an economical second car that could get them back and forth to work, commuter car, that sort of thing. So there was all kinds of advantages to that the Prius could deliver on. We sold more Priuses in Northern California for 4 years straight than the rest of the country combined.
Wow. That's amazing.
This is the power of getting a relevant message to people.
Right.
And so it's not really a question of ads that are good or ads that are bad. It's more a question of ads that work.
About that, sometimes marketing can be unintentionally funny. So I remember seeing ads over here for a company that provides some sort of bathroom renovation or remodeling service. And I could never get over the name that they chose for their company. So in German, the word for bathroom is Bad, which you spell like the English word bad. So since the company presumably helps their customers to develop a new concept for their bathrooms, the company decided to combine these two words in their name. Yet for some reason that is totally beyond me, they chose the German word for bad, the German word bad, and combined it with the English word concept. So it basically reads bad concept. And to me, and probably everyone else who speaks English, this seems like a rather bad choice for a company name. I mean, who wants to do business with a company called Bad Concept? I'd rather have a good concept for my bathroom than a bad concept, right?
Exactly right. Yes. Well, I'm describing this in fairly simplistic terms. It doesn't make it easy. I mean, there's lots of examples of huge blunders that have been made. But if you start with your audience, start with who it is you're trying to speak to, and what I call outside in marketing. What you're describing is inside out marketing. They all they could think about is themselves, and they talked about themselves, and they ended up with this execution that made no sense and or was completely off the mark of what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
If they had understood their target audience, understood the men and women who are interested in purchasing their services, and understood the problem that they were trying to get solved outside in, then they'd have a success. Go ahead.
What's the worst marketing failure that you have ever seen? Have you seen something similar to that?
Well, I'm the proud owner of a pets.com sock puppet.
Right.
You know what I'm referring to?
I think I do, but explain it for everyone else.
In the very early days of the internet, and honestly, this wasn't a bad idea, it was just bad timing. In the very early days of the internet, back in the 1980s, when venture capitalists were spending money like drunken sailors on all kinds of strange and wild things, one of the concepts was to deliver pet food to people's homes via the internet. It was basically an early version of online shopping. And the company was called pets.com. And of course, today, this is a normal thing, and the infrastructure is in place, et cetera. So wasn't necessarily a bad idea, but the way it was advertised, and they treated it like a consumer packaged good, versus the understanding how an online service should and could work. And it was a huge failure. And that's another good point. oftentimes, it's the overnight success in 20 years. Oftentimes did this fail because it's a bad idea, or did this fail because it was badly executed, or did this fail because the timing was wrong? Right? Pampers was not the first disposable diaper. It's the market leader now, but it wasn't the first. Right? When Google launched, they weren't the first search engine. They were probably the third or fourth search engine. Yeah. But what differentiated Google was they figured out how to monetize it.
Important point.
An important point. The others had wonderful technology to search the internet for what you were looking for, but they had no way to make any money from it.
So it wasn't sustainable.
It wasn't sustainable.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, when I worked on the launch of the original Apple iPod, we would be lectured by, he whose name is quite famous. And about this isn't about the device. People are buying the device, but we're selling the iTunes store. Because what differentiated the iPod wasn't the device. The technology, the device itself was no better than any of the other devices that existed in the market, and there were lots of them. What made it different was that he had solved the distribution problem, so accessing the music was easy.
Yeah.
1,000 songs in your pocket.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. These are all good examples of understanding your target audience and understanding what the problem is that you need to solve. And that's how you get a good ad campaign.
Sounds so easy. Now let's go back to the basics for a moment. I know that this is confusing to a lot of people, including myself, all the people who are non-marketing experts. So can you explain the difference between a marketing and a sales funnel, and how are these connected, or are they not connected at all?
They are completely connected, or at least they should be.
Okay.
A marketing funnel is the activity that you execute to draw customers into your business. The sales funnel is what happens after they make the first purchase.
Okay.
So the objective of the marketing funnel is to attract qualified prospects, ideally what I call best customers. And best customers are typically heavy category users, the 20% of consumers that generate 80% of sales in a category. And these people exist. You want to draw these people in, and that's what the activities in the marketing funnel accomplish. So when you start putting them together, I like to describe it as an hourglass.
Okay.
You've got people coming into the top, and they're flowing down through the funnel to that first purchase. And then at that first purchase point, the intention of the sales funnel is to add additional products and services to their purchase, build the relationship over time, increase the lifetime value of the customer. Relationship marketing gets involved, selling more products and services to folks. This is all activities in the sales funnel.
Can you talk a little more about the relationship marketing? So what is this, and how do we do it? Who needs to do it?
Okay, the relationship marketing is another whole session. We often use interpersonal relationships to describe these because it's easy. The key distinction here is that it's a business relationship. And at the end of the process, we're exchanging equal value for equal value. And there's the microtransactions I was describing earlier, equal value for equal value. And they get richer the deeper you go in the marketing funnel. But that it is that exchange of value that is creating the relationship. And what you're trying to accomplish from a relationship marketing point of view is increase what I call relationship equity. And that's the value that's created that goes beyond the functional benefits of the product or service. The surprise and delight, the extra mile, the, oh my God, I didn't know they could do that. That was so nice of them to tell me about this. How, they just reached out, and the box arrived and there was a pair of sunglasses in the box for me. These things that go on that build the relationship beyond the purely functional and transactional, because that's really what creates a brand. There are lots of products with names that believe they're brands, but they aren't really, because they have no relationship. There's no relationship between the brand and their consumers. Mm. So the practice of relationship marketing, and I have 5 principles that I developed 25 years ago that are still, I still use them today. They're still very relevant today. That's a very important thing to accomplish, because the payoff is huge. Think about it. There are 5 ways that a loyal customer can contribute revenue to the business. The longer they stay with you and continue to buy from you, your return on the initial investment to acquire them is maximized.
So what are the 5 principles?
The 5 principles of relationship marketing?
Yes, please.
Hang on. Number 1, attract the right customers for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. The majority of loyalty problems can be traced to a flawed sales process. And this is what I was talking about, understanding your customers at the beginning and building a relationship, building a marketing funnel that draws them in. The most crucial time is at the beginning. If you think about it, their interest in what you're selling looks like a bell curve. Mm-hmm. Out here on the edges, they're hardly thinking at all about what you're doing. This is the annoying advertising that you were talking about before. But as their need changes, they'll go into consideration mode. What can I do to solve this problem? Then they'll go into prospecting mode. Who are the 3 people I should choose? And at each of these stages, their interest is lifting like the side of a bell curve. Well, the purchase is at the top of the bell curve. It doesn't mean their interest vanishes instantly. Mm. It falls off in the same kind of bell curve shape as it grew in the first place. So at that crucial time is at the beginning, because that's where you've got the opportunity to shift the relationship from being a transaction to being a value exchange. Mm-hmm. And that's a subtle distinction, but it's a very important one. The third is in relationships, you need to continually reinforce the reason to buy. Mm-hmm. Tell people they've made a good decision. Tell people that how smart they were to do this and solve their problem this way. Again, part of the interest bell curve, don't take advantage of the fact that they're still engaged, because they're also still engaged with your competitors. Mm-hmm. They may have chosen you, but they're very aware of what the competitors are saying and what you are saying at that early stage. As they fall out of the bell curve, good customers expect to be rewarded. Mm-hmm. And I chose the words carefully there. It's not bribed, it's rewarded. And this is the value exchange concept that I was talking about before, and the added value and surprise and delight and ongoing communication that, tells them how to use their product better or the service better, or tells them about other things. One of the key strategies that makes for effective social media is the 70-20-10 rule. 70% of your content should be just pure value creation. 20% of your content should be curated content from other people with the goal of creating value. Mm-hmm. And then 10% is sales.
Right.
So you're trying, good customers expect to be rewarded because they know they're good customers.
Yeah.
Pay attention to them. And then finally, the next most crucial time is when the relationship is at risk. Mm. Things will go wrong. How you handle them, can either reinforce the relationship or not. I mean, people, the psychology is around something called attribution theory.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know somebody and they do something, horrible, right? But you've no relationship with them, you attribute their behavior to them.
Yeah.
If your spouse does something horrible, it's, oh, are you having a bad day?
Yeah, it's a circumstance.
You attribute their behavior to their environment.
Mm.
You're striving for the same kind of relationship in the commercial relationship that you have between your customers and your products and services or brands. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, totally makes sense. Now, from your experience, what would you say are the most common mistakes that entrepreneurs make when it comes to marketing and sales?
Entrepreneurs they don't understand their target audience. They think they do, but they really don't know how to separate themselves out. They are so involved in what they do, particularly if they are engineers or more focused on the actual creation of the product. Mm-hmm. Being able to step outside of all of that and put yourself in the customer's shoes that's a hard thing to do.
It is. It really is.
So if you can't do it yourself, hire somebody who can.
Okay.
That I'd say is one of the I've seen so many good ideas just wither on the vine because they didn't know how to communicate that it was a good idea.
So they should do more market research and then focus on the messaging piece, or what?
It's the hub and spoke that I was describing before. The rim, the piece that holds it all together, is the messaging and content strategy.
Right.
The media channels are the spokes that get the message, get your customer back into the hub and get your message out to the customer. And the hub is the website, which is where people can maximize their value creation.
Now, speaking about websites, what are the most common mistakes people make on their business websites? And can you maybe share your 3 top tips for improving any website?
Okay. The average website visitor has less attention span than a goldfish.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Less than 6 seconds, right?
6 seconds or less. And keep in mind, part of that 6 seconds or less is the time it takes for the page to load.
True.
So make sure your website is properly built. Make sure that you're on a powerful host. You want to maximize the speed. It's also very important to the pointed-headed ones at Google. Search engine optimization, your rank. One of the factors is page load speed.
Yeah.
So make sure that your pages are loading quickly. Make sure that you address in 6 seconds or less, you have to do 3 things. You have to tell them they're in the right place. That's about branding. That's about consistency. Same colors as you're used in the advertising. Make sure your logo is prominent. Make sure the fonts are the same. Subtle things like that just reinforce people that they're in the right place. And you want to do that quickly and easily because you've only got 6 seconds. Then give them a benefit-oriented reason to stay. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about the problem you're trying to solve. Present the problem. Agitate the problem. Talk about the risks if they don't solve the problem. And then present a solution to the problem. So you get that benefit-oriented reason to stay, and then finally make it crystal clear what they should do next.
Sounds good.
You arrive on a website and there are 9 different choices in the navigation. What am I supposed to do next? Where am I supposed to go? And suddenly I'm having to think about it. And if they're thinking, they're leaving.
Too complicated.
Too complicated.
Okay.
Sorry about the house phone is going on. Hopefully my wife will get it in a moment.
No problem. Now, thank you for sharing that. And I believe that like in general, learning from your experiences and reflecting on the lessons that you have learned is so important. So I'm curious, if you could go back in time and you could give just one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Learn how to listen.
Good one.
Listening is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking, you aren't listening.
So listen first.
When I was in the advertising agency world and I'd have large staffs and we'd be hiring, I spent a lot of time talking to the young account executives about shut up. Let the client talk. You can't really understand their problem unless you're listening to what they're saying. And you can't be listening if you're talking. And the same is true with marketing and your consumers. Stop talking about yourself. Listen to what they need. And it will and then start delivering on the problem that they're trying to solve, and you will see success.
It's great advice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, where can our listeners find you online if they wanted to learn more about you and your work?
Well, the simple way to find us is I wrote an ebook about the hub and spoke marketing, and you can download that ebook at hubandspoke.marketing. And that would be the best way to get connected. I'm also available on LinkedIn, and we're active in Instagram and Facebook. But go to hubandspoke.marketing, and that's where you'll be able to download the ebook. And it's a funny story. It's a fun story. I wrote it in a story form. So it's the story of a small business owner named John, and how he struggled with the things you described at the beginning. The overwhelm, so many options. What should I do? I don't know where to go. And the hub and spoke strategy was introduced, and he embraced the hub and spoke strategy and started shifting what he was doing. And it describes his journey to success using the hub and spoke strategy. So hubandspoke.marketing.
I'll make sure to
download the book.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, Claudia. I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. So take care and talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show or share it with a friend. That way you can support the show and help me reach and support other entrepreneurs like yourself as well. If you would like my help to figure out how you can go from overwhelmed and overworked hustler to empowered and confident leader, check out my website at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions and book a free 20-minute strategy session with me. Can't wait to help you get wired for success. Until next time, take care. Bye.